Hello students, hope all of you are doing well. Welcome to this recall session on INI-CET for PSM session. If you see this session, it was relatively easy. So the session, it was relatively easy. See, there are 14 questions from PSM. Out of this, one question was difficult in the sense that it was new or from a general topic, it was a new topic. Other 13 questions were of the basic or standard. We cannot tell they were challenging, they were only basic or standard. So the most of the questions are from biostats. As usual, biostats had 4 questions, but this time all the biostats questions were easy. Health programs and MCH, they contributed 5 questions. They were also easy. Epidemiology, 3 questions, 1 or 2 like the mobile medical unit. It needed application. Then there were integrated questions like strains for human papilloma virus, for cervical cancer, HPV 16 and 18. Then kwashiorkor. The kwashiorkor means protein deficiency. There will be swelling or edema. So these were the questions. Now, starting with the first question, which was new. So which was new. Rather than telling it as a PSM, we can tell it was general. So what is this? Safety of medical data is protected by which act? So you have so many acts. The act which was recently introduced in 2023, the DPDP Act. So more than community medicine, it is from a general topic. So what is this DPDP Act? It means Digital Personal Data Protection Act. So how you could have fared in the exam? In the exam, PCP and DT, it will not come because it is Preconception Prenatal Diagnostic Techniques Act related to radiology, related to finding out the sex, which is banned at the time of the fetus. Then MTP, it is also the Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act. Then you have 2 things. Then data, we can remember, so D, there is no D, so at least there will be some D here. So Digital Personal Data Protection Act. So what is HIPPA? Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. So I want to tell you something about this act. So what is this Digital Personal Data Protection Act? It is aimed at safeguarding your digital personal data. So to whom does this act apply? So this act, if you see, it applies to the processing of digital personal data within India and also to the entities outside India that offer goods or services to the individuals located in India. So according to this act, we are known as data principles. The law gives the citizens, that is data principles, we have the right to access, correct, erase our data or withdraw any consent which we have given, like for while buying a mobile or while subscribing for an application. So we can withdraw the consent. So entities that process this data, they are known as data fiduciaries, the companies. They are data fiduciaries. So the big companies, they should appoint a data protection officer. He should perform data protection impact assessment. He should conduct data audits. In case of any non-compliance, in case of any serious breach, according to this act, penalties up to even rupees 250 crores can be put. So this is about this act. It's going to the next question. So this question was discussed many times in the class as well as in the Q bank, lot of times, like almost the exact question it came in the exam. Which test of significance will be used for measuring the weight in hypertensive patients before and after giving the drug? So there are 2 groups. So you can see here what we discussed in our class. So there are 2 groups. Then this is what data? Hypertension, BP, it is a quantitative data. 2 groups. So it is before and after paired groups. So it is paired t-test. If it is like males and females, then it could have been unpaired t-test. More than 2 groups, it is ANOVA, analysis of variance. Then non-parametric, like presence or absence of hypertension and association with presence and absence of bronchial asthma. It could be chi-square test. See, we also discussed with the example. See the third example, almost the same. 10 patients were administered amlodipine and BP was measured after a window telmisartan was given, was there any difference in different treatment effect? So quantitative, two groups which are similar, paired, so it is parity test, almost same to what we discussed. So this is from the same from our Q bank. Now going to the next question. So the following steps. So these are the steps. Arrange the following steps of the research in the order. So whenever we do a research, what we have to do? So first, in the research, always the first thing should be research question selection. So I'm going to find a treatment for COVID-19, whether drug A and drug B are equivalent in treating COVID-19. So it is always the first question should be the research question selection. The second is the objectives. We are going to measure it in terms of what is the number of days required for clinical cure or how much BP is reduced. Like that is called as the objective. Then we are giving the treatment to two groups. Then we are measuring it and analyzing it. It is something we have seen in the design of an RCT. What are the steps? Collecting suitable population, sample, randomize, give the intervention, analyze the data. The first point may be missing research question. And then choose the objective. So almost the similar thing, which we are also seen it in the planning cycle, analysis of the health situation, establish the objectives and goals, fix the priorities, program, implement, monitor, evaluate. So this is the right option. Research question selection, fix the objectives, administer the questionnaire, and analyze the data. So this is the same thing from our Q bank. Next question we are going to see. So I have combined two questions in biostats into the same. If you see here, one of the following is incorrectly matched. Measures of central tendency. Yes, mean, median, and mode. They are measures of central tendency, which we have seen in the class. What are the measures of dispersion? Mode is not a measure of dispersion. The measures of dispersion are standard deviation, range. So even coefficient of variation. So measures of location. This was as a separate question. So what are the measures of location? Percentiles, quartiles, which position? So what is the quartile? So their room, you have to divide it into 4 parts. How will you divide it into 4 parts? Using 3 divisions. So we have 4 parts. This is called quartiles. Percentiles, 100 parts. How many divisions? 99 divisions. Then measure of movement, skewness. Like we have seen a right skewed curve, left skewed curve, normal distribution. So this is mean, median, mode is called as the first moment. So variance or standard deviation, they are called as the second moment. Skewness is called as the third moment. It is nothing but skewness to describe the distribution. So we have seen the same thing, measure of position, quartiles, percentiles, standard score, and question bank also, which is not a measure of central tendency. Mean, median, mode are measures of central tendency. So these are the movements. So first moment, second moment, third moment, fourth moment. So first moment is mean. Second moment is called variance. Third moment is skewness. Fourth moment is kurtosis. In biostats, if you see, the measures of movements are statistical calculations to describe the characteristics of the data distribution. Next question. So we are choosing a sample. How? By dividing them into categories of mild, moderate, and severe anemia. 50 members were chosen from each group. So we have to select a population of 150. That is our sample size from the population. How we are selecting? 50 members from mild anemia, 50 members from moderate anemia, 50 members from severe anemia. So groups. So whenever you hear the term groups, you can go to stratified. Stratified Random sampling. Here they are not taking the whole groups. From each group, they are taking the number. Then it becomes stratified random sampling. In case the question has come like out of the 10 groups, 3 groups are chosen as whole, then it could have been cluster random. So it is a stratified random sampling. You can see here groups, stratified random. Why it is not a systematic random? For systematic random, you have to calculate something called as the sampling interval. That is total population divided by sample size needed. So it is not there. And also like every fifth person, every sixth person, that is not there. So this from our Q bank. So every third house, every 10th house, that is for a systematic random. But here it was not like that. So it is a stratified random, dividing the population into strata and randomly selecting the samples from each strata and not by the intervals. Now going to the next question. So there is a village. The population of the village is 1,000. 200 had chicken pox. So last year 100 had, sorry. So last year 100 had chicken pox. So what is the incidence? So last year itself 100 had chicken pox. Now 200 are having chicken pox. So what is the incidence? So what they are telling? So you have to remember the formula for the incidence what we studied. Can go to the next page. So incidence, number of new cases divided by the total population at risk during the same period. So this is where most of you have made the mistake. What is the denominator? The population at risk during the same period. So what will be the numerator and what will be the denominator? See now there is a population of 1,000 children. 200 had chicken pox this year. So last year also 100 had chicken pox. So they will be having some immunity. So they will not be at risk. So the denominator will be 900 and the numerator will be 200. So how much is the answer? So this is how we can get the incidence. So 200 by 900. So 2 nines are 18. 2 nines are 18. So it is 22%. So you should not have put it as 1,000. In case if you have put it as 1,000, it would come as 20%. But it is the wrong answer. You can remember it like this type of incidence. You can even remember it like an incidence density. So in incidence density, we will adjust the denominator based on the time intervals followed. Here you can remember why they have given last year data as well as this year data. So that should have strike your mind. So the population at risk only should be included in the denominator. Coming to the next question. During the festivals and functions on a large scale, like they were mentioning Mahakumbh Mela, where the people gather on a large scale, mobile medical units were set up primarily too. So what is the role of mobile medical units? So we saw about the mobile health units, mobile medical units, rapid response units during our classes. We saw. So their main responsibility is to early detect the cases, and in case of any outbreak, they have to give the warning sign. That is their main aim. So not to give like a quarantine or reduce the burden or not like basic medical care. These can be secondary. But what should be their main aim? Their main aim is they should act like a rapid response team. They should immediately give the information to the rapid response team and immediately tell for the outbreak and trigger the early responses. They should trigger the early responses to the outbreak. Now coming to the next question. The vaccine contraindicated in a inherited immunodeficiency disorders like some SCID. So all the live vaccines are contraindicated. So pregnancy is also one immunocompromised state. So similar to pregnancy, all the immunocompromised conditions, they should not get the live vaccines. Out of this, it is the only live vaccine. It is MMR, measles, mumps, and rubella. See, we have told all live vaccines are not recommended in the immunocompromised state. So this was also asked in the last INI-CET exam. The last question, it is a repeat question. The concept is a repeat concept. It is a repeat concept. So all the live vaccines are contraindicated. So it is a repeat. Next. So this is What we saw the same thing in our question bank, the Q bank, live attenuated vaccine. One of the following group is not considered as a high risk group in HIV transmission. See, in HIV transmission, in our national AIDS control program, if you see, you can see generally in discussion as two groups. One is high risk group and another is bridge population. So what is the role of the bridge population is they connect the high risk group with the general population. If you see pregnancy antenatal checkup at the time we are doing the HIV checkup, no, that comes under the general population. Who come under bridge population? Mainly the truck drivers, the long distance truck drivers. Then the single migrants. What they will do, they come in contact with the high risk group. Who are the high risk group? So the men having sex with men, commercial sex workers, then IV drug users. So these are all high risk groups. So this also we have seen. So here truck drivers, they mainly come under the bridge population. You can see here what is the bridge population. We'll explain in our Q bank. So a bridge population is a group of people who are at risk of contracting HIV. Some examples of bridge population include truckers, migrant workers. Can I go into next question? So total dependency ratio. It was a very, very easy question. Total dependency ratio. We have seen who are dependent on whom. So the population between 0 to 14 years and more than 65 years are dependent on the population between the 15 to 64 years. So there's 0 to 14, you can take to the exam. So this we have discussed so many times. You can see here. Our Q bank as well as in our workbook. So how can we calculate? So how much is 15 to 64 years? So they're given it as risk. So risk is 2,000 people. Less than 15 years is 1,000. We are adding 250. So 1,250 by 2,000 is 0.625. If you convert to percentage, 62.5%. So this was an easy question. So match the following vectors with the diseases transmitted. So this also we have discussed so many times. Mite. So mite, trombiculate mite, staph typhus, S-car, mainly in the axillary region or in the flexural areas, you can get trombiculate mite, staph typhus, which might tabs. Then tick. So you can come here. So we have tick or tick, and we also have soft tick. Then flea, endemic typhus. So in the flea, that flea, we are having the endemic typhus. Then louse or the lice, it is the epidemic typhus. The louse, pediculosis as well as the epidemic typhus. So we have seen those are in our Q bank. So according to RM and CH plus A, so R means reproductive, maternal, newborn, child health plus adolescent. Now we have N also plus nutrition. So RM and CH plus A, reproductive, maternal, newborn, child health, adolescent health and nutrition. So automatically it will not include geriatric care, which is population more than or equal to 55 years. The pregnancy checkup will be done, adolescent care will be done, child immunization will be done. but geriatric care will not come. So this was also from our Q bank. So according to National Program for Control of Blindness and Visual Impairment, blindness is defined as a visual acuity of. So it is the visual acuity of less than 3 by 60 with correction, with best possible correction in the better eye. So even if you have two eyes, one of the eye is gone. With one eye, even if you are wearing spectacles, with spectacles, if you are able to achieve more than 3 by 60, then you are not blind. With best possible correction also, if it is less than 3 by 60, then you are called as blindness. So what is the three definitions for blindness? Visual acuity of less than 3 by 60 in the better eye, then inability to count fingers in the daylight at a distance of 3 meters, or a corresponding visual field loss of less than 10 degrees. So these are the three definitions for the blindness, which was also from our Q bank and also from our workbook. So from Q bank and from our workbook, we almost got 13 out of 14. One was completely new, two from our related content. The rest we almost had from our workbook and Q bank. Thank you. All the best. Do well.